Now, you may ask, and you would be right to ask, what a basket of summer fruit has to do with all this judgment Amos is bringing down. Old Testament scholar Gene Tucker says that it's a play on words, a pun, in which the Hebrew word for summer fruit sounds like the Hebrew word for the end. In English, it might work like this, with God asking Amos what he sees, and Amos saying, I see a basket of ripe fruit. That's not all that's ripe, God would say. The time is ripe for judgment. But any of you who have gathered summer fruit know how quickly it can go from ripe to rotten. One day you've got a basket of peaches on the kitchen counter looking beautiful and edible, and the next morning you walk in and there are fruit flies swarming around, and you pick up a peach and it's mushy and brown on the bottom and there's nothing to do with it but throw it away. A basket of summer fruit can go from ripe to rotten, and when it's rotten, there's not much you can do but throw it out. I think that's the message here. God is getting ready to toss Israel out like a basket of rotten fruit, and there's nothing they can do about it. If Amos had been a professional prophet, he would have known. You're supposed to come to people with a warning, and then you pronounce judgment. But Amos wasn't a professional. He was a part-time prophet from down in Tekoa. He came pronouncing judgment straight away. These people had had their chance. They knew the rules, and now they were going to get what they deserved. But why? They ask, what have we done? And Amos tells them, because you mistreat the poor, he said, because you lust for money, stopping at nothing to get it, even if it means lying and cheating and stealing. You people can't wait until the Sabbath day is over so that you can go out and sell grain and make money. You put your thumb on the scale so that less looks like more, so that you can get a higher price for it. You sell the needy for a pair of sandals and sell the sweepings of the wheat. All of this desire for money, it was what God judged. The way people said, let's make some money, licking their lips. Let's make some more money, rubbing their hands together. Let's make all the money we can, they said. Because if we have money, we can buy things. And if we have things, we will be happy. So let's make money, money, money. Does that sound familiar to you at all? If God is ready to bring Israel to utter ruin because the people love money, because they can't ever seem to get enough of it, and they are willing to do whatever it takes to make it, what does all that say about us? What does it say about a nation that makes up less than 5% of the world's population, but uses up 25% of the world's fossil fuel resources? A nation that had more private cars in 2003 than it had licensed drivers, and kept on selling those gas-guzzling SUVs. A nation where the houses were 38% bigger in 2002 than they were in 1975, even though the average family was a good bit smaller. See if this description of ancient Israel from Amos 6 doesn't sound a whole lot like modern America. Alas, for those who lie on beds of ivory and lounge on their couches and eat lambs from the flock and calves from the stall, who sing idle songs to the sound of the harp and, like David, improvise on instruments of music, who drink wine from bowls and anoint themselves with the finest oils. Maybe that doesn't sound like an average day in your household, but if you go home this afternoon and look through the circulars in the Sunday paper, you will learn some things. You learn that if you have enough money, you can buy a king-size bed with a pillow-top mattress. You can buy a big leather couch to put in front of your enormous flat-screen television set. You can buy lamb and veal grain-fed beef and free-range chicken. You can download the latest songs from iTunes and play them on your Bose docking station. You can stop by Total Wine on your way home and pick up a few choice bottles of Cabernet. And then, if there's still time, you can go by Bath & Body Works and get some of that warm vanilla sugar lotion you like so much. Smells so good. I mean, this is America, people. We can have whatever we want, right? And you might argue that it's not hurting anybody. It's not like we're exploiting the poor so that we can enjoy our wealth, is it? Well, yes, of course it is. But even if you can't acknowledge that, perhaps you can acknowledge this. That simply by virtue of living in a country like this one, we participate in a society that favors some people over others. Because I was born in America, I had an advantage over billions of other people. Because I was born white, I had an advantage over millions more. Because I was born male, I had an advantage over roughly half the population. My family wasn't wealthy, but for many of the same reasons I have just mentioned, I was able to get a good education. And I have a wonderful job, and almost everywhere I go these days, I get respect. If I were to go to Best Buy this afternoon and tell somebody, anybody, that I was shopping for a new home theater system, somebody would wait on me. They would. But what if I were a poor woman from Cameroon living in this country? What if my husband had left me and I had to clean rooms at the Quality Inn in order to provide for my 3 children? How would I be treated? Not so much at Best Buy, but maybe at my next job interview, or at the health department, or at my children's elementary school. What is it about our society that makes it so easy for someone like me and so hard for someone like her? And what would God have to say about that?